I just wish like I knew now whatever future me is going to know. He stuck himself in again and I was like, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it's just...
All right, let's go. Let's go.
I was thinking about, I knew I was going to be changing up the climax scene. Not a lot, but just I'm adding different characters. New characters, more characters than were originally there. There was one that I didn't forget about, but she wasn't there in the original version for like good reason. She just wasn't there. She was doing something else. I was thinking that I wanted her there along with all the other characters that I'm involving in this situation now. And I couldn't really figure out why, like, my brain was so insistent on including her specifically, because in the original version she just wasn't in that scene. And I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, there is a reason why I want her to be present at that scene. It's just funny because I trust my brain to do whatever it's going to do, basically. I just let things happen. So when I'm writing a scene and a character that I'm not expecting shows up, I'm like, oh, okay, but does it make sense? Is it better because of what I have planned? Yeah, it's like, it's not my conscious mind thinking of it. It's my subconscious, my unconscious mind thinking of these solutions when I'm not aware of it, I guess, because there was something that happens, I'm not sure if it happens in book 2 or book 3 now, because of the way I've shortened the timeline for book 1 and some of the events are going into the next book. So I'm not sure how that shifts the timeline for many of the other plots and subplots. So that's something I will be figuring out, like, after this revision is done, is I will be retackling my series outline and taking another look at that. Whatever that event is, whatever book that happens in, it's always on my mind because I have to do the setup for it. That's the thing about writing a series, especially one that is where each next book is dependent on the previous one. The story builds from each book. They're not independent, they're not standalone. They are all dependent on each other to make sense and to build a story. So for things that happen in book 2 or 3, I do need to set them up in book 1. I don't like to have things just happen in the same book that the storyline happens. Like the character that I wanted to move his whole storyline into book 2 because it's a lot. He adds a lot of work and words that have been going into this draft again, because he was always there. It's just as I've been rewriting it, I was like, okay, I guess he's coming back in because he's not leaving. Like, I wanted the majority of the story to be in book 2 because book 1 is so long, and I'm still not sure that might not happen in my next revision. I'll have to see. But right now, the character of Andrew wants to be in this first book. And I really like him, so I want him to stay in this first book because he is important later on. It was one of those things where I was like, if I move that whole storyline, it comes up that he's important in book 2, okay, but I don't want to introduce a brand new character in the same book that he is suddenly important in. You know what I mean? Like, that always feels weird to me. In episodic series, where each book is kind of standalone and it might, like, the characters are in common but the storylines are separate in each book, that I can understand because you're being introduced to a new storyline for that book. So that necessitates being introduced to new characters in the same book that they are all important and their story is there. But because everything that I'm writing is important for the entire series as a whole, I want to set up everything that I possibly can in book 1. That does mean leaving a lot of things unresolved, which is something that I struggle with because advice is constantly telling us that your first book, even in a series, should be standalone enough that it feels like a whole book. And I was like, I sure hope mine will feel like a whole book enough that it satisfies the reader. But like, if you guys will have seen my vlog for the first week, when I did my calendar outline to map out the events, book 2 starts 3 days after book 1 ends. That is how close the events of all these books are. As if they're just one story chopped up into books. Like, that's really all it is, because once the story starts for these characters, it doesn't stop. It just keeps hurtling toward the end of their story. I struggle with the concept of making these books independent because they are not independent. They are fully dependent on their surrounding books and the books before them to set up the storylines. I had one scene early on with Andrew where he stuck himself in again, and I was like, I guess, I guess. And I thought maybe I don't need to have a lot of his storyline in here. Maybe it can still all be put in book 2, but he's been popping up again and again, and there's a lot of scenes with him and Emily. And I like that. I enjoy that, and it's important, and I think it will be good because that's a big relationship for book 2 between Emily and Andrew. I guess it makes more sense for me to set that up in book 1 and have those types of scenes starting, because book 2 starts 3 days after book 1. So it's like, I'm not gonna suddenly introduce this character and have him and Emily be all buddy-buddy. Not that they are at all buddy-buddy, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just, I just gotta do what I gotta do and see how it turns out. It's just something I was thinking of because I'm coming to this other scene with them, and it just makes me think, and I was like, I want to involve him in the climax scene now that he's going to be there, and I want to involve this other character even though she wasn't there in the first draft either. So, but there's a reason for that, and like, I just hope my mind knows what it's doing, and I usually trust it to know what it's doing. Like, it's probably already thinking about the next books and what I'm supposed to be doing to set it up. So it'll probably come to me later and I'll figure it out and be like, oh, a revelation. And I'm just like, I just wish like I knew now whatever future B is going to know. Like, that's the thing, is that I was like, I just have to write and trust that I guess I know what I'm doing on a character and storytelling level at this point. I mean, my book is far too long, so don't hold that against me, okay? I am an overdrafter when it comes to words, like using words, so I will definitely be cutting my wordiness. Probably not until the line edits, but that is a thing. But I am an underwriter when it comes to description, details, internal character thoughts during the scene. So that's where I run into problems. Yeah. Hello everybody, it is Monday the 15th and I'm here to close out my week 2 vlog. I did not get any writing done yesterday, like I thought. So that's 2 Sundays in a row where I haven't written anything, that they're just blank, and that's fine. That's fine. I may end up taking every Sunday off the rest of camp. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but it might be okay. So I'll show you what my planner looks like for the end of the week. I guess go into my plans for what the start of week 3 entails. Yeah. Okay, so with my goals, you notice that I ended up having to do some rearranging, removing of scenes, just like if I ended up combining them. You didn't do the novella again, so I mean, yeah. No world building this week. And I just worked more on my Psychics Whip. And I did this all in like the last 2 days, I think. On Friday and Saturday I did all of this. So I guess that's what doing a 10K day will get you, is like twice as many scenes in a week as I normally do. So it's very colorful. I love Friday because it starts all the way up there. So I was doing the 10K challenge. I also unintentionally did a 12-hour day. Those were my hours for the day. It was 12 hours. So now that I'm up to 64 hours total. I'm at 18,000 words for the week, all because I wrote 10,000 here. Like, that's just mind-blowing. Like, I don't know that I'll do this again, at least not during this camp, but who knows, maybe by the end of camp if I feel like I need it, but I don't know. Here's the monthly stickers for days. Of course, nothing for Sunday. I had a really hard time with the stickers on the 12-hour day because I never expected to have to fit 12 stickers on a little square, but it's a good thing I had a bunch of tiny stickers. So, week 2, 45 hours was my goal, and I'm at 64 hours, so I'm doing really good. And 45 pages, that's what I wrote just this week. That is an unbelievable week for me, honestly. So I did 4 hours the first 2 days. Wednesday, I did only 2 hours, and then I did 2 6-hour days in a row, which that's not uncommon. Like, I can generally do 6 hours. So I either do 4 or 6 usually. So I did 6 hours, and then the next day I doubled that and did 12. And that's why on Sunday I did nothing. I did nothing because I'm tired. I'm still tired. Okay, so that's my planner. I feel good. I feel good about this week. I do. I enjoyed doing the unintentional 12-hour write-a-thon, aiming to get 10,000 words. I mean, I barely made it with 10,061 words, but I did it. So I like that. And realizing that I do often have days where I write for 6 hours, I mean, that's not that different. It's just that I write for 6 hours more. So that is a lot though, writing for 12 hours a day. I would prefer to just keep doing like my 4 or 6 hour days rather than try to fit writing into 12 hours. Even though I managed to write 10,000 words that day, I don't know, like I just don't know. So I'm not planning on doing anything like that for week 3. It's just gonna be me trying to write. So I'm still really tired today, and it is 7 o'clock already at night. I don't know what happened. I woke up late because I was tired and like just sleeping a lot. So I don't have much going on this week except on Friday. So my plan for week 3 is to continue working on my psychic swip. I'm putting aside the novella and the world building, and thus like I find I need to do something for the world building. I am putting that aside, at least for this week, because I am at the scenes leading up to the climax and the climax. I'd like to see if I could get all of that done this week, because then that would leave me next week to try to do like all of the wrap up and resolution scenes. Like I'm so excited that like I don't want to jinx myself by being like, I can probably finish these revisions this month. Like it's been freaking a long time, so I don't want to jinx myself, but that's where I'm at for week 3. So we're looking good. And I will say that getting all of those scenes done, I did 1, 2, 6 scenes on Saturday during that 12-hour write-a-thon. Last camp for April, I was doing like 7 scenes a week, kind of 6 or 7. So this week I did 6 scenes just in those first 4 days, and then the last 2 days I managed to do 7 scenes. That's a lot. So that's basically 2 weeks of work. I will say that that was nice. That is nice to see, to know that I'm like a week ahead of my goal now for finishing these revisions, because I got more work done. Like it is really like mentally and physically draining though, so that's why I would not do it again this month probably. Like that would be a thing I could do periodically, every now and then. I am really glad that I tried it though. Week 2 was really good. I am surprised at the progress I made, and I'm just blown away. So I'm hoping that week 3 will be another great week filled with progress, because that would be awesome. This is it. This was my week 2. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. You know the drill. And comment down below. Let me know how you guys are doing. If you are participating, how your week 2 went. If you have different goals for week 3. I know sometimes halfway through camp, a lot of us end up changing our goals. Let me know what your guys' plans are. And if you're not participating in camp and you're just doing your own thing, let me know how your life is going and what you're doing this month, and if you have any plans for the rest of summer, because I feel like summer's gonna be over before we know it, and I just had snow like 2 months ago, so I'm not sure how to feel about that, but I love autumn, so who knows. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let me just sign off, okay? All right, so thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you taking your time out to watch a long video, as I know all my videos are long, and I appreciate every comment I get. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.